Well, the UNRWA is primarily funded through contributions from UN member states, as well as the European Union. The annual budget for UNRWA is $1.6 billion. The US contributes almost $344 million. The UK contributes over $21 million, and that's almost 17 million pounds. Our Middle East correspondent, Alistair Bunkle, reports.
The fighting in Gaza is as relentless as ever. Thousands are continuing to flee south in the hope of finding safety, but often finding very little shelter, food, or even clean water. Now, the organisation that supports them, the UN agency UNRWA, is facing another challenge, with the UK joining the US and others by suspending its funding. It follows the UN suspending its own staff members accused of taking part in Hamas's attack on Israel on the 7th of October. The UK Foreign Office said that the UK is temporarily pausing any future funding of UNRWA whilst we review these concerning allegations. We remain committed to getting humanitarian aid to the people in Gaza who desperately need it. It was Israel who provided the UN with the information that their staffers were allegedly involved, and the country's representative to the UN was quick to denounce the agency.
How symbolic is it that on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, it was exposed that UNRWA employees took part in the massacre? The UN is not only weaponized to delegitimize our existence, but also to physically exterminate us.
This now means that a major source for aid, shelter and assistance for displaced Gazans is under threat.
UNRWA is already denouncing its incapacity to deliver aid as necessary because of the bombing in safe areas, because of the cutting of telecommunication that do not allow delivery of aid to take place, and the collapsing of the little law and order that remains in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. So defunding UNRWA at such a time, it's utterly irresponsible and immoral.
The Nasser hospital is the largest remaining functional hospital in Gaza, but the fighting is getting closer. Medics say that the hospital is on the verge of collapse, no longer able to provide vital medical services.
Of course, the medical equipment in the hospital is almost non-existent. The simplest things in the hospital, such as painkillers and anaesthesia tools, are not available. We're trying our best to deal with patients that arrive, and we're trying to keep them alive.
Some aid is able to pass through the tightly guarded crossings into Gaza, but humanitarian organisations say it is nowhere near enough. And at a moment where there are calls for more assistance, this cutting of international support deals a heavy blow for those just trying to survive. Alistair Bunkle, Sky News in Jerusalem.